We're in this greeting and gathering moment. Claudia Ryan, our chair of our leadership board, is going to give us our is going to give us our You brought your cheering section. I love it. Yeah. Where are the pom-poms? You all, come on. We got to, woo, woo, woo. Claudia's going to lead us in our quarterly leadership update. At your tables, I've been hearing a lot, which is awesome. Please continue the feedback. We've been putting out 10 sets of minutes. We moved the information area outside of the offices, and we have 10 copies every week, and people are picking them up. So thank you. Thank you for wanting to stay engaged, etc. In this. It's really, really incredible. You have a few on your table, some minutes there on your table if you want to take them. What we did in our last meeting, a little bit of what we're going to be talking about today, and then there are some things there that we won't be talking about, but maybe you'll be interested in. And then at 9:50-ish, we're going to have an action vote for those of you who are members who are able to vote. We're going to vote on 2 new members to our leadership board, just making it official. We talked about these 2 new members at our last quarterly meeting. We started the process of engaging with them after the last quarterly meeting, and we're voting them in officially here so they can start their term tomorrow, July 1. And then we'll take a brief body break, refill your coffee cups, and then we're going to lean into our 10 o'clock hour. So we'll go from there. So how about this? How about I have Sandy Garcia, if she's prepared a sermon. She's prepared a short sermon. 3 months ago, she prepared a prayer, and
I redid it.
And yeah, she redid it for ordinary time.
As you know, I'm not good at extemporaneous prayer. Welcome, everybody. Please pray with me. Dear Lord, we gather today to hear about our church's progress toward realizing our mission statement and guiding principles. We are grateful for the leadership of our Pastor Andy, as well as the talents of our amazing staff, the leadership board, the amazing leadership board, and all those who contribute to the vitality of Central UMC. Please guide them as they plan for the future of our church. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Sandy. And Claudia, I'm going to pass you this baton. It's not very hefty. And then you get this other baton.
Can I stand up?
Yes, you can stand. Please stand up there. Let's give Claudia a nice round of applause, everybody.
Okay. Well, as usual, I got to get a new shirt today because I always get something new if I have to stand up here. Oh, really? Nope. There we go. Okay. So I did ask the board for anybody who could come today if they would. So if you guys could just stand up for a second and let everybody know who you are, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so I wrote this down in a different order. Okay, budget versus actual. So we'll start with the not the best news. We are entering our slowest contribution time in the summer. We get more money from the congregation and other people who give money through other parts of the year. And the bad news is, not awful news, but not the best news, is we're running considerably behind our projection for where contributions would be. In fact, we're about $40,000 behind where they could be. So our expenses are on target. Our income from other sources is on target. It's just contributions that are running behind. I know I've made a decision to up my giving for the rest of the year. I know that there are some other people considering doing their giving in a different way. So for those who are concerned about that, I would just, offer that to you as something to think about. All right. CRNAM update. In May, Tracy offered us an idea. It came to through Andy to the board. They started their new project several years ago. They had the expected cost of that project on the west side. They raised all the money to cover that. But through time, through the impacts of COVID on supply chains, through inflation, they had to go back to their donors again and raise more money. And now they're faced with that again to finish it. So they asked the board to consider giving them the remaining monies from the Ash Endowment. And we considered it. We took some time. We looked at the originating documents. We looked at the history of the way the money has gone to Suriname, and we decided that we would give them that money. So when you see the financial reports, they'll be considerably lower, our financial position, because we are giving them, and this is as of the end of May, so I don't know the exact amount, but $1,128,000 plus. And that will empty the Ash Endowment. It doesn't mean we're not connected to Suriname. The church is still the sole member of the Suriname LLC. Our pastor has a seat on the board. We have many volunteers with the program. We're not losing that connection. We are just helping them finish up that enormous project that they're doing on the west side.
Claudia, may I add?
Yeah.
So just that was an administrative announcement. Here's what that means for us. Suriname is able to complete their capital campaign in full because of this decision. The West Side campus is on its way to being fully funded and moving in that direction. They're going to double their capacity on the west side. And so thank you for your dedication to this. Thank you. The cloud of witnesses who have gone before us, who set this way, your visionary action as a congregation allowed us on this really momentous occasion to complete a project where we're dedicating ourselves to more freely, fully connecting with our beloved people in transitional housing. So thank you all so much. Thanks. Sorry to interrupt.
TMF investments. Looking at the financial position report, we also realized there's some idle money sitting there. It was making some return, but not as much as it could. So we have invested $530,000 in TMF in what's the equivalent of CDs. They call them impact certificates. But you'll see there'll be a $300,000 impact certificate, and there will be a $230,000 impact certificate on the next financial position report. And lastly, the good news. We did have a procedural audit, the first audit in several years, and it has been completed with no significant findings. Next year, we'll do a full audit, which will be significantly more expansive and more expensive. And we will, alert you to the results from that also. But no significant findings. So, good news.
Yeah.
You don't need that, but you need that.
Yeah, hold on, stay right here.
Okay.
Because we're going to do this. So, Claudia and I are going to stay up here because I want you to talk about me. Did you see her roll her eyes? Did you see that? Oh, yeah, that's all we ever talk about is you, Stoker. I'll get you that back.
All right.
So these are pictures. You're going to see pictures in, for those of you who are at 8:30, we have a little insert for you to take home from your worship guide, to thank our staff, to pray for them as they continue to work. But Maddie Bond, Dr. Daniel Cummings, Charlie Ford, Michelle Humes, Gary Kloss, Dr. Karen Maroli, Dylan Trujillo, and Jesus Valdez are our staff members. They're incredible. Just incredible. And speaking of Charlie, we have some really good news. We need more chairs. The best thing that a pastor can ever say. The gospel, and we need more chairs. Okay, great. And then, Claudia, if you want to talk about this.
Okay. So I attended annual conference for the second time. At least I understood this year what was happening. So it was kind of an adventure. In any event, my favorite part both years has been the confirmation of the appointments, and the people who attend from the congregation get to lay their hands on the appointed pastor. So it's it really means a lot. Andy does say he doesn't like attention, and so he wanted me to do this, but I don't know. I don't know. In any event, it was extremely meaningful, and I think I asked him to let me do this because I wanted you all to know that it had happened, that this is real. We have somebody for a year, we know for sure. But you've heard that before. In any event, this is the picture of that moment.
Thanks. Okay. We'll see you next quarter, Claudia. All right. Let's see. I wanted to do a couple of updates too. Oh, cool. Yeah. This is the slide I snuck in for me. I wanted to tell you all, I announced last month in our newsletter and at the beginning of June that I'd be having conversations with our LGBTQIA++ community, parents, those who are in the community. So just having conversations. I had 17 unique conversations with about 22 people. So many of them were one-on-one, which is really a great experience for me, and I hope and pray for them. I took notes during our conversations, and this is what I've discerned as part of the outcome of those conversations over about 3 weeks. So the first is having a welcome statement or a diversity statement in our worship guide week to week. So I actually started that at the beginning of June. Today you won't see one in the worship guide at 11 o'clock. But I started that a month ago and have had some good returns, especially from first-time guests and returning members. So that's been a really good sense of things. I'm going to run it again next week into the month of July and see what the sense is. As a reconciling congregation, that means that we're trying to discern how we open ourselves up further. So trying to have a welcome and inclusive statement about how people dress, how people show up, what their educational status is, what their job status is, a variety of things so that we can become more welcoming, more hospitable as people show up just as they are. And so I think I've entitled it kind of fun little things like, we love the way you look, sort of a Men's Warehouse kind of thing, or we love you just the way you are, or something like that, to be a little tongue-in-cheek with a very serious statement. It intrigues people, like, what does this mean? And then they read it and they say, oh, I am welcome here. The second thing that came from our conversations was we probably need to have a church-wide ally training. It'd be really, really helpful for us to know the language of the community. For example, I've been in several conversations about pronouns. I live with two Gen Z folks, so 21-year-old and 16-year-old. And our dinner conversation is not homework or anything else. It's correcting me on my language around pronouns. Now, I know some of us were influenced by grammarians so when someone takes on the pronoun they, them, we want to correct all of the verb tenses behind it. So it's just those things. And also just become more aware of how people may be showing up in our community. We had a person yesterday at a funeral service came up to me during the reception and said, "Are you telling me that you would accept even me at your church?" And he had painted fingernails. He had one sleeve tattoo. I said, "Yeah, especially you. You have a worldview that potentially we don't have. So come on, bring the noise. My personal and professional philosophy is the more the merrier." Okay. Third, we are discerning as a leadership board, discerning what it might look like to have a year of jubilee for weddings. Now, the year of jubilee for weddings is this. What if we haven't had a really robust wedding ministry here in the last probably 10 or 15 years? I don't know if you all know this. We have a gorgeous sanctuary. It is to die for. I mean, really. So I brought to the leadership board in May, I said, what if we had a year of jubilee where people don't pay for the building, but just pay for the people? Like the organist, the musician, the support staff, security, and the pastor. And we just give them one lump fee, and it's hyper inexpensive, but just a way to evangelize this gorgeous space and say, we're open for business, friends. It'd be great if we did that. Just thinking about this, and that it came from these conversations is of interest to me from this community. Sadly, in many ways, our beloved in the LGBTQ IA++ community have resisted returning to church because of the judgment through the years. I cannot imagine that. I think we've lost probably 3 generations of folks because of this conversation. And so a year of Jubilee potentially would bring different sex-loving people instead of same-sex loving people into our church. But potentially it's another way into our church that we just haven't leveraged in a long time. So another idea. The fourth idea is, God bless you. The fourth idea is this. There was a sense that we need to probably do services of healing and restoration more frequently here, especially around our beloved in the community. For example, World AIDS Day. World AIDS Day, there is a beautiful liturgy in the United Methodist Church that if we have on December 1st, we set aside a worship service for World AIDS Day, a service of healing and restoration. If we wanted to remember the Pulse nightclub shooting from 6 years ago, how we honor that and really open up in a service of healing and restoration in that way. So just thinking about some of these things, nothing is set in stone, but I wanted to tell you that from our beloved in this community, these are some ideas that emerged. And I hope that as we all together are thinking and praying the best for what's to come for Central United Methodist Church, that we listen to these folks who have, sadly, who have been marginalized and minoritized out there. That potentially these conversations can be part of our wider conversation as a community. Okay, questions about that, Bill? Yeah, Bill said, as part of number 3, is there a way to celebrate a reaffirmation of marriage vows, celebrate them here in our church, and open up for that? Actually, that can happen for everyone and anyone. So if you're celebrating an anniversary that's coming up, you just dial up 505-243-7834. 7834. I'm going to get it one of these days. It's the 505 that trips me up. I'm still moving in that direction. Just dial us up and say, hey, we're going to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary, our 5th wedding anniversary, our 1st anniversary, whatever, and come on. Or if you'd like to reaffirm your vows here as a same. Is it over? Oh, it's a phone. Okay, I was like, oh, they're wedding bells. Wow, it's on cue. Whoever's phone was that was awesome. You guys win the prize today. But absolutely, yeah, just call us up. I don't know if you know this. Not only do we have a beautiful sanctuary, but we also have a beautiful chapel. Have you all seen these venues? They're amazing. I don't know. Y'all should go. You should really go to these. They're amazing. Okay. Thank you for that, Bill. Absolutely. 505-243-7834. Got it. Janice. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so how do we take out this year of Jubilee for weddings? One of the ideas that... Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so Albuquerque Pride had the second year, this is the second year they've done it, on Thursday night of Pride Week in Albuquerque. They had, in a park, to your point, in a park, a candlelight vigil for those who had died in the community. Oh, okay. They opened it up this year, the second year, for anybody who died in the community. But yes, there was an AIDS vigil as well as that. But to your point, it's in a park. It's a beautiful, beautiful park. No offense to the park, but it makes Janice's point that there's some work to do because of people's trauma of their experience in churches. I'm not saying at Central United Methodist Church. I'm saying in churches that have had very restrictive understandings and very heteronormative understandings of how people ought to live. So absolutely. Thank you, Janice. Good. All right. Dodie. Yeah, what Dodie just mentioned was, let's not just have this tunnel vision. There are significant other social issues for us to take on. And this is just a report, Dodie, from the community conversations that I had after the General Conference vote. So, yeah, there are several opportunities here given the leadership board on this. Not only how do we care for this piece of property in a holistic way, our landscaping, how do we keep it secure for neighbors in the area? There are a variety of things. So yeah, these are just conversations, reports, trying to be as transparent as possible. Good. All right, let's take an action here. I am not a member. I am going to act as the presiding elder in this moment right here. I'm not a member of the church. If you're also not a member of the church, you're welcome here. And we're going to take a vote, which means you have voice but no vote. If you're a member, you can vote here. We are adding 2 new members to our leadership board, Molly Hayes and Janice Honeycutt Herring. These are 2 that have come to us through discernment, and after a conversation with them, they are saying, yes, please, let me sign on, and they have July 14th already on their calendar to get trained up. So there you have it. So all of you in favor of Molly Hayes and Janice Honeycutt Herring added to our leadership board, please raise a hand. Thank you. And any opposed? Okay, this carries. Janice, welcome. So glad you're part of the team. And Max is going to tell Molly, congratulations. We'll see her later. Okay, good. He gave the hand wave. Good. All right, friends. Anybody need a body break? How are we doing? 10:02? Okay, we can take care of ourselves after this? All right, here we go. I'm going to start with appreciative inquiry, which we talked about 2 weeks ago. Ooh, that is really small. That's okay. So, think of appreciative inquiry are three movements of the church happening at once. Paying attention to God, paying attention to the congregation, and paying attention to others. These are, so it's spiritual formation, congregational formation, and missional formation. All of these happen all together in any church, right? God, self, other. Loving God and loving neighbor as ourselves. Okay, so this is the fullness of the gospel mandate. In our understanding of this, how do we strengthen all three at once? To Dodie's point earlier, how do we not just become so focused on one area that we just need to focus on congregational care? We need to huddle up and say, this is us, and we're going to weather every storm. Well, what happens is slowly there is this shrinkage that happens because we're not fully paying attention to God and fully paying attention to another. So in this movement, this is a constant balance. A constant balance. And as we ask questions, how are things being cared for on the congregational level? Do we have folks other than the pastor making phone calls and making visits and reaching out? Are there others who are trained to teach and preach and engage with the congregation in really holistic ways? This congregation has Stephen ministers. What does that look like to have Stephen ministers in our space and place and be able to hold a confidence and share with another person in that confidence so that they're able to carry? They know how to refer then to a pastor or a therapist. And so their nurture and care helps us continue on. In worship, how do we involve more voices from the congregation in worship? We've got this guy who has this degree, but that's okay. But what if we can all teach and preach and proclaim? During preaching and offering or giving the invitation of the offering, leading in a variety of ways, this is what we can do. And then also in our missional life together, what's going on in our neighborhood and beyond? What is God calling us to particularly so that we can move in this space to assist those who are oftentimes marginalized and minoritized? And to add, once again, the last time I'm going to lift up Dodie's voice here and also lean into what the future looks like. How do we have foresight for us to do some climate care in our space, and maybe even lean into eco-justice? Growing up in El Paso, water was the big issue. I don't know what the issue here is in Albuquerque is. Oh, it's water. Right? So what does that look like for us to really understand how the water system works, what's going on, and dive into that? For example, it could be a multitude of things. In a variety of things, in a variety of ways, we have to understand what we focus on becomes our reality. If we're only focused on, is the preacher preaching a good sermon, then we've lost this larger swath of what the church could be and should be. If we only focus on the Lobo pantry and making sure university students are fed, then we lose this whole other part of our church. So what we focus on becomes our reality. When I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I talked about what it meant for us to stop maybe even saying, oh, Andy, you should have been here 20, 30 years ago. We had an amazing congregation. We were busting at the seams. No, I'm not sorry. I'm here at the right time in the right place with these amazing people, with the right people. No, this is us, friends. We're the ones we've been waiting for. We're the ones we've been waiting for. We don't need to think about, we've been there, done that. Got the T-shirt or flip-flops? I can't remember. I can't remember the clothing source, right? We've been there, done that. No. That's if we focus on 20 or 30 years ago, then we're losing what's in the present moment and what's to come. That's what excites me. That's what excites me. Okay, I'll stop preaching. Language and questions change our reality. Language and questions change our reality. Bring feedback. Ask questions. And know that when you bring feedback and ask questions, I'm going to say, ooh, that's good. Let's talk about that some more. All of a sudden, we share the answer. Right? I am not really good at people backing up their dump truck and dumping all their stuff on me because it's hard to swim out of all of that. I want to say, what's in your dump truck? Let's drive together and figure out if we can unload some stuff. Let's do this in a shared way. How do we begin to understand that our church in a very powerful way still has its best days to come? When our language and our questions emerge in that way, all of a sudden we're not walking into rooms saying, "Oh, Andy, 20 years ago it would have been different." It'd be, "Oh, Andy, did you see? Oh, man, we had 9 visitors this week, and I met them all. Do you want to know their names?" "Yes, I do." Yeah, that's the engagement. Remember that organizations become heliotropic. And what that means is they follow the brightness, warmth, as a sunflower follows the sun. What if our energy just wasn't on the pastor, the spotlight wasn't on the pastor, or I'll pick on Karen, or on Karen Maroli, right? What if we understood that spotlight was like always shining on all of us? A searchlight. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, man. Are you a clergy spouse? Oh, man. And oh, gosh, double dose and a PK. A clergy spouse and a PK. How many sermons have you heard, Bill? TMTC, too many to count. Okay, good. I haven't seen that in any hashtags lately, but I'll start it on Twitch. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. But so what if we had a searchlight and we're saying, "Ooh, there's the energy, there's the energy, there's the energy," and we're able to lift that in those spaces and places. People have more confidence about the future when they're able to carry forward the past. People have more confidence about the future when they're able to carry forward the past. What that means is that, yes, we did have a season of life where there were more bodies. Did that mean that they were all moving in the same direction? Did that mean that they were activated on a Monday morning as much as they were on a Sunday morning? So what if we said, yeah, we had more people, but we probably had just as many percentage-wise in leadership who were doing 80% of the work. 20% of us were doing 80% of the work, right? So what if we just shifted that? What if 30% of us were doing 70% of the work? Just little things like that. Well, what was good about that season? What was good about those seasons where we hold it in such high regard? Well, we were connected in the community. How so? Well, we had an amazing choir. Well, do you remember the songs they sang? Not really, but we remember how many people there were. Well, is it the same virtue and value that our choir is now? And how has that changed? Well, if we start to break things down and be curious about the past, then we can say, ooh, not much has really changed. So here we are. We're the ones we've been waiting for. Now let's carry forward the good things of the past and see what the future might hold. Okay. We talked a little bit about that. Great. Oh, man, I'm doing awesome. Just ask me. I am doing great. So what we're going to do, all right, you're going to stay at your tables. For those of you who are yet at a table, I'm going to need you at a table, or maybe not. Maybe I'll set you up over there. We're going to do World Cafe. Has anybody ever done World Cafe before? It's kind of a group think activity. A group think activity in this way. So let me give you the administrative part first. Every table will have a recorder. That recorder will not move from the table. We're going to move tables twice after this round. We're going to move tables twice so we can mix up, because I see you all clumped together in your cliques. I see you. We're going to move around a little bit, and we're going to be able to hear everybody's voices, okay? So, thank you, Michelle. Guess what I have? I have an extra providentially prevenient grace. Prevenient grace, look at this. Look at this. I have an extra butcher paper because I over butchered. Jim, will you help me? Okay. So, and I think I put extra. So, okay, cool. So, World Cafe. There will be one recorder. So go ahead and choose your recorder. Somebody's going to stay at the table or be voluntold. If you're just going to stay at the table, I will. Okay. Least mobile person to stay at the table. Okay? All right. So once you found your recorder, that person's going to write down answers to whatever the prompt is on the screen. I'm going to say the prompt twice for the auditory learners here, and then it'll be on the screen for our time together. So, if you are a doodler, or if you are an introvert, or we don't have time to get to your answer, which I hope everybody's able. This is a big table, so I want to hopefully get everybody's voice here. So the key is get as many voices as possible on this. If you doodle or want to write some other things, that's great. Recorders, will you please change your marker color? I'll work with you all. Will you all please change your marker color from one question to the next, so that we can know what's going on. All of this, our work today, is going to be compiled and given to the leadership board, and then you're going to hear. I'm certain you're going to hear about this in the coming weeks about what's emerging from our conversation. What we're doing is, okay, bye for those of you who are leaving. All right. Our first question is, what is Central United Methodist Church known for? What is Central United Methodist Church known for? And you have 5 minutes. Ready, go. 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, you have about 30 seconds. If there's somebody that hasn't spoken yet, make sure their voice is heard. All right. For those of you who are on the move, go ahead and rise as you're able and switch a table. If you can find a table that, so recorders are going to stay. Recorders are going to stay at the table. Jim is running to another table. You don't have to run. You can walk and sip coffee if you want. Or what is that? Oh, it's very decaf. It's very decaf. Yeah. Good. We got to mix it up. I should have mix-up music. That'd be really good. Okay, you all are doing great. We found a table. We found our tables. Okay, it looks like we're getting refueled and reset. Okay, question number two. How are we really advancing our individual roles and the church's overall mission? How are we really advancing our individual roles and the church's overall mission? What I'm asking here is, how are you as individuals representing Central United Methodist Church? And how do you think we all are doing when we're representing Central United Methodist Church outside the walls? Sort of where are we presently? How are we working as individuals, and how are we working as a collective? Current. This is present focused. Last question was past. This is present. You see the method of the madness yet? Okay? So individually, get self-centered. It's okay. If you're leading a Sunday school class, if you're calling homebound members, etc., if you're on the leadership board, how are you as an individual engaging in the life of the church? And then how is our overall mission as a collective moving forward? Okay? Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. There's not a voice. I see some deep breaths. This may be a little harder question. How are we in the present? Okay. Anybody not share? Anybody not share? Go ahead and have that person share now. All right. Time to move tables, everybody. Thank you so much. This is a timed activity. Let's go ahead and move tables. Find somebody that you haven't been at a table with. Recorders, stay where you are. You're doing great. I know, we need music. Exactly. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's find. Okay. The choir has to go rehearse, so that just freed up some tables. Bye, y'all. That just freed up some chairs. So for those of you who are on the back row, not to pick you all out. Yeah. So please find a chair if you all sat out the last round. We've got plenty of chairs. All right, here we go. Question number 3. Where is God leading us as disciples of Jesus Christ and Central United Methodist Church in the next 12 to 18 months? Where's God leading us? To you. Thanks, Al. Okay, where is God leading us as disciples of Jesus Christ and Central United Methodist Church in the next 12 to 18 months? Once again, looking internally, like maybe you've been inspired, maybe this is something that you want new and set your heart and mind to that we can see, or where do you think Central United Methodist Church needs to go in the next 12 to 18 months? Ready, go. Okay, 1 minute. Let's go ahead and see if there's anybody who hasn't had a chance to speak yet. All right. The Lord be with you. Thank you. The Lord be with you. All right. So I want you to stay at your tables. We've got more folks exiting for choir. God bless you. Thank you. We thank you for your leadership. So at your tables, someone, not the recorder, needs to be the voice for this. I want you at your tables for the next 90 seconds to discern the top two items on question number 3 to see what the agreed upon top two items at your table for a person to speak them out loud. The person will have a microphone, so bear that in mind when you choose your person that speaks. Okay? So you have about 2 minutes to discern that. Ready, go. Okay, Roy's ready. Great. Yeah, y'all. Okay, everybody have a speaker? Not yet? 1 more minute? Okay, no problem. All right. How we doing? We good? Check. All right. Jim's ready. Okay, so everybody have a speaker at their table? Top 2 things from your table on this question number 3. All right? After every report, we need to give a very loud, raucous round of applause. Because believe it or not, this is hard work. This is hard work to try to boil it down to just 2, okay? Not saying that these 2 are only going to leadership board, but just to lift us up so we can hear the voices from around the room and know what we're thinking. Where would we like to start? Is there a volunteer to start? Oh, Sandy's volunteered. Jim.
All right, brothers and sisters, we believe as prioritized, God is leading us as a congregation and as disciples to discuss politics from a moral perspective. That's kind of an urgent over important, but given our season. And the other is to discover the gifts of church members. That was it. Discover the gifts of church members. So understanding what we can do.
All right, Mike.
We broke down our third question to two things: ecumenical outreach. We need to be broader in the. We had Lowell for a long time. We had a lot of things. We've kind of lost focus that we need to get back out in the public. And the other thing that we came out with was we're going to do that because of the leadership of Andy. You know, we've had some great pastors, but let's be honest, he's the Energizer Bunny, and the other people really weren't, in my opinion. He's got ideas. He's got things we haven't even thought about yet. So I think with his leadership, we can accomplish all these things.
All right, great. Roy's ready.
Oh, this is unique, me speaking out in church. Okay. Our two are to bring people by building relationships. And I think most importantly, we have an opportunity to be leaders in the United Methodist Church.
Thank you so much. Great work. All right. Okay, I'm looking for a female speaker, just telling you. I'm just kidding. Come on, George. I saw you stand.
All right. Well, I guess we're just kind of echoing a couple of the things that have been said. But our first was really looking across the street and supporting our UNM students, and especially the Wesley Foundation, that it's really a focus that we need to be looking at. And then to cover that is community outreach. We really need to be working outside the doors of the church, and we are ready to go.
All right. Here we go.
All right. It is interesting that we are all kind of on the same focus, because we also claimed new outreach ministries as one of the things that we think would be fabulous going forward, and feels like there's an energy that's ready to take things on. But we also identified that we need to have more communication about who we are within our church. We have some new members that don't know, or visitors that don't know what's available. Website is great, but do we tell them where that is? Also to have maybe we used to have, I know, something brief printed up. We'd like to see that reestablished so people know what's here if they come visit or they are regular visitors.
Excellent. How about a high five? All right. Here we go. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So there is a little repetition. We kind of got to more detail on how to do outreach. And in one group I learned about, I guess it's a camp or something. It's a mini school. It's at Sacramento. So I never knew about that. So we were talking about maybe approaching parents when they're picking up their kids from the nursery even, or from Sunday school. And one of us is at the door and ready to give them information or make an announcement at the end of class. That there's other options available. And hey, invite a friend next week. Next week is Bring a Friend Sunday, something like that. So the kids can start to invite their people, making that more fun. And then having more fellowship evenings for anyone in the church, also that we invite our friends. So having dinners or potlucks or whatever, something simple, and invite our own people and just have time to hang out and chat, and then we can learn more about what's available in the church and what programs are out there. You know, just sitting there and you can go look at it as needed, whatever, as interested. So having more specific plans for what we're going to do instead of just saying outreach. So what does that look like? Sticking a sign out on the corner, come on in, we're having fellowship tonight, you know, and there's food. So, okay.
Okay, Donna, here we go.
We also sort of mimicked what you said, except this one's not. We need to listen and ask questions before we decide what we're going to do to help people. Be nice to know what they would like us to do for them. And we need to use the building for outside groups, and it doesn't depend on whether you can afford it or not, because lots of these groups that would like to come in here can't afford it. So you don't have to rent the building, you just have to come and pay for the electricity or whatever. But that we thought that would be a good way to use our money. So those are our two things.
Awesome. Okay, so that's just tip of the iceberg, friends. Tip of the iceberg in a process that took 30 minutes. Tip of the iceberg took 30 minutes. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to close with this. Yeah, for those of you who are at the table, you can just leave them right there. No worries. I'm going to come back this afternoon and pick them all up and start that sorting process. Thank you all so much for engaging in this way. Thank you so much over the last 6 weeks. This has been so much fun to be with you, to get to hear from you, to see you all in one place in this a little more. We have a gorgeous sanctuary. Have I said that today? I don't know. We have a gorgeous sanctuary, and I'm way away from you most of the time. And so to have this experience with you has been just wonderful. So please know and recognize that this has been a joy for me as well. Dodie, yes, ma'am.
One point that didn't come up, and I think is very important, is we need to support all of these projects economically. Maybe we need to dig a little bit deeper because they take money. This isn't just, and we need money to come into the pot so that we can spread the pot.
Yeah. Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. Thank you, Dodie. Thank you. So I'm gonna end where we began. Robert McFarland is one of my new favorite authors. He has the best job in the whole world. He is at Oxford University, and his job, he is the professor of wandering. Seriously, all he does is walk around and think about stuff. Isn't that a great job? I think maybe David Ryan comes close to maybe that locally, but he doesn't get paid as much as Robert McFarland does. I'll check with Dave this week. Just kidding. So I'm gonna end where we began this week. Everybody remember this picture who was here at the beginning? So this is the Scottish Highlands, and it's this waterfall in the background, and there are these mossy rocks, and there's this brightly colored orange mossy rock, and Robert McFarland stops, and he notices the difference of the moss, the color of the moss, so it's facing a different way. It's facing a different way from the sun, and its nutrients are cared for. And he began to think about the phrase, angle of repose. Angle of repose. And he says this: an angle of repose is the maximum angle at which a slope of loose material stays stable with the bonds of friction just exceeding the demands of gravity. Figuratively, of a human life or community, an angle of repose is the tense point where hanging together still beats falling apart. Friends, this is us. We are in this amazing angle of repose where we've decided together that hanging together beats falling apart. And when we do listen more deeply, when we do consider our neighbors, when we do understand what God is up to, all of a sudden, all of this together comes together for the good not only of our congregation, but the good of our entire community, because we've set our hearts, our minds, and our lives to it. I, for one, am overjoyed to be a small part of the movement of the Spirit in this place. May we, with great courage and compassion and strength, be ready for what God is calling us to next. Amen? Thank you all so much. Please be on the lookout for our newsletter tomorrow that's going to come out for July. Sunday school classes are in the same spaces, and we have a couple of administrative announcements there, like closure of the church offices and so forth. So Please bear me up. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think George O'Connor and I have had a conversation. Bert too. I think I'll drag Bert into this. George has said and Bert has said that it looks like you really love your job when I do this. And I do. I mean, this is where I find a lot of joy, and hearing your voices, laughter, feedback, giving me grief. I love it. So we're going to continue to have a conversation about what this looks like. I know that we have Sunday school classes, but if there are ways that we can open up a little bit and see if there are themes that come along, Bible, tradition, reason, experience, or whatever, that we'll open it up. But Sandy, thanks for the affirmation. All right, friends, I'm going to go get ready for church. I don't know about you. We got some work to do. Let's go praise the Lord. Okay, bye.